Greetings to my new Champion Smiles family of patients. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I want to spend a few minutes going over the COVID-19 protocols and procedures that we're going to be using in the office. Um, we've been dealing with this pandemic for quite a while now, and fortunately, um, the team that you guys have been working with have been doing a great job at trying to keep you all safe. It's my understanding that nobody's been sick and there haven't been any positive tests, so uh, that's great. Our number one goal, our priority, is to make sure that we keep everyone safe in the office, and we've been doing the same thing at Champion Smiles. Um, there are a few differences in our protocols, and as you might imagine, we're going to be adopting some of the Champion Smiles protocols as we move forward. But the differences are, I want you to understand that the rationale behind um, any more stringent protocols that we're going to be taking is still the same, just to keep you safe. Um, the virus is spiking throughout the country right now. We are not out of the woods yet with the pandemic. Maryland and DC have been doing pretty well. Virginia is at a little bit of an uptick. But you know, we're in it for the long haul. And so, again, our greatest priority is to keep you all safe at the office. And so that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. The first place to start is to talk about what we know about the virus. So, number one, it's highly contagious compared to the flu. If you get the flu, studies show that you might infect one or two people, whereas with COVID, it could be more like three or four. And what makes this virus really tricky is that it can be spread asymptomatically. So someone could be infected with the virus, not know it, and be passing it on to others at the same time at a high rate. So that's the reason why we've got to make sure that we are really, really careful about how we do things. Fortunately, there are a number of people who will get infected with the virus and may not have any symptoms at all. And there will be many more who do develop symptoms and become ill and who recover from it. But unfortunately, there are also some folks who will get infected with this disease and have more severe illness, and at worst, it can be fatal, particularly for folks who have pre-existing conditions or who are older. And you know, we all have families. We all want to take care of our families, and so the best way that we can try to do that is, particularly in the public, try to make sure that we're following all the CDC and state and local guidelines to try to make sure we're keeping one another safe. And so, you know, we've heard a lot about social distancing and, of course, about wearing masks. And so those two things are kind of highlighted throughout the protocols in terms of what we're doing to try to make sure that the office is a safe environment. Everyone's been wearing masks in the office. That's obviously going to continue. You guys have been doing a great job at that. But again, want to reiterate: anytime anyone's in the office, we all need to be wearing masks, staff and patients. And then social distancing, we definitely want to maintain social distancing in the office as well. Um, so this is where there will be some new protocols that we're going to begin to discuss at this point. So the team has been doing a great job of maintaining social distancing in the treatment areas. We have found that it has been a pretty easy thing to do. We just make sure that we're using chairs that are far enough apart so that people aren't on top of one another. And that has been we've been able to keep people pretty safe in doing so. The area where we have the most traffic is at the front desk because people are coming, people are going, people are checking in for appointments, scheduling appointments, trying to make payments, ask questions, particularly during this time of transition. And that creates an environment where the traffic in the office can bottleneck at the front desk, and it can be difficult to maintain social distancing. So what we've been doing at Champion Smiles is we've been asking everyone to wait in the car. Parents, wait in the car while your kids have their appointments. And also, as opposed to coming into the office to check in for your appointment, we'd like you to send us an email at info@smilechamps.com. We'll make sure that you have that email address, but we want you to check in by emailing us. Send us an email, let us know you've arrived, and then what we're going to do from there is we're going to send you a digital COVID-19 screening questionnaire that you'll be able to fill out and complete from your phone in your car, and once you've completed it, it'll automatically send it right back to us. Remain in your car after you filled out the form. Again, this will be a little bit different for you all. You're used to getting the screening questions at the front desk. We're going to do that via a form while you're in the car digitally. After you've completed the form, stay in your car, and then we're going to invite you into the office when your chair is ready. So the other area in the office that gets a lot of traffic is the waiting room. So what we've tried to do at Champion Smiles is avoid using the waiting room. You check in, send in your form, we'll receive your form, and there may be other patients who are being seen in the office. Your chair, your treatment chair may not be ready yet. So it may take a few minutes for us to release that patient, clean that chair for you, get it set up for you, and then we'll let you know when to come in so that we can immediately take you back to the chair where you'll be sitting. That way you shouldn't have to sit in the waiting room at all. You should be able to come to enter the office, go straight back to the treatment area, and then when we finish, you should also be able to leave and go straight back out to your car, because instead of scheduling appointments at the front desk, what we're going to do is try to schedule those appointments via email. So now you've heard me discuss the use of email at a number of points. What we've been doing at Champion Smiles is we've chosen to use email as our preferred method of communication during this time, and it has gone very, very well. You can imagine that with these additional requirements for our front desk team, the check-in process, taking temperatures, if you add all that onto answering phone calls like we normally do during a normal day pre-COVID, it is overwhelming for the front desk staff to be doing all that at the same time. And so email provides a great method for communication because as opposed to being tied to a telephone in one hand and checking a temperature in the other hand, we can respond to emails promptly, and we can respond to multiple emails at the same time without having to keep you on hold, and be able to do the things that we need to do at the front desk in person, such as checking temperatures, etc., without having to be connected to too many different places all at the same time. In addition to that, email provides a written record. So you'll never have to worry about, oh, well, so-and-so told me this over the telephone. We've got it all right there in the email, the date, time of your appointment, and whatever other information is discussed, including financial matters, as well as questions about the transition. Now, we're going to definitely be making time for you to speak directly to me about this transition and how things are going to go for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to be providing more information about how we're going to go about doing that. But for now, in terms of communicating with the office, please use email. And again, that's info@smilechamps.com. So a few more things before we wrap this up. Again, you heard me say that patients can come into the office and go directly to their chair. So for young folks, if it's possible for your child to come into the office without an escort, that's what we would prefer. Parents, if you can wait in the car and send your kid in after we've let you know that the chair is ready, that's what we prefer. If you've got a youngster for whom it would be inappropriate for them to come into the office by themselves, then of course parents, you're welcome to come with your young child. But other than that, we are asking that you would send your child in unaccompanied so that again we can cut down on the number of people that are in the office. We talked about checking temperatures. In addition to checking temperatures, we're also going to be checking blood oxygen levels. Oxygen saturation is a way to measure how well the lungs are performing, and one of the kind of a measurement that we can use to see whether or not anybody's having any issue with breathing capacity, even in the absence of a fever or something else. However, I want you to keep in mind that we're going to be taking our own temperatures and blood oxygen saturation every morning before we come in to make sure that our team is healthy as well. In addition to that, we are obviously going to be maintaining strict adherence to CDC guidelines, protocols, as well as local guidelines and protocols. We'll continue to do that. We've always done that. And that is really about it. So again, these are some policies that are a bit more stringent than what you may be used to. I want to remind you that we've been using these policies at Champion Smiles now for about 3 to 4 months, so we're familiar with them. They seem to be a bit more stringent in the beginning, but I can promise you that it's something that you can get accustomed to, and that hopefully you'll feel confident in our efforts to make sure that your office is one that is safe to visit. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Look forward to seeing you all in the office.